Hello everyone and welcome back to Kobean History. Today we have another news video, so I'll cover some of the news that I found interesting between last news video and today. I've got 5 news stories for you today. Most of them I'll just quickly go over. There will be links to the articles in the description if you want to know more about them. I'll cover them from oldest to newest. By that I mean not the date they were published, but which time period they cover. So we will start with a 500 million year old fossil, which is the oldest ever cephalopods that we've discovered. Cephalopods being the group which includes octopuses, squid, cuttlefish and nautiluses. Through genetic studies we knew these were one of the oldest known animals to have evolved. But now this fossil confirms these earlier studies, as it has been dated to about 522 million years old, from the early Cambrian period. This creature was tiny, measuring just about 1.4 centimeters, or half an inch tall. But this ancient creature already evolved a cone-shaped shell that was subdivided into different chambers, and by pumping fluids and gases through these chambers, the animal could adjust its buoyancy, so going up and down the water column. And this is a feature that's common in shelled cephalopods. Next we go to Argentina, where a new long-necked dinosaur was discovered. And this dinosaur is the oldest known Titanosaur to have ever been discovered. Titanosaurs is a subdivision of sauropods, also known as the long-necked dinosaurs. And the largest dinosaur we've ever discovered belonged to a species of Titanosaur. This new one that was discovered wasn't that big yet. It lived about 14 million years ago, which is about 20 million years before the appearance of the next known Titanosaur species. Older long-necked dinosaurs have been discovered before, but none were part of the Titanosaur group. In our next story we go underwater to what is now Mexico, but about 93 million years ago. Remains have been found of this bizarre shark, which is dubbed the eagle shark. This shark species quite resembles a manta ray, but these were not that closely related to rays, and this is actually an example of convergent evolution, where similar traits evolve into different organisms because they have a good advantage in the niche these creatures inhabit. We can also tell this shark actually fed in a similar manner to manta rays as well, as it was a filter feeder. This shark actually lived more than 30 million years before the likes of manta rays evolved. Our next story brings us to about 70 million years ago, where this ostrich-like dinosaur was found brooding atop a nest of blue-green eggs in what is now southern China. This is quite a remarkable find because we found egg fossils with embryos in before, but this fossil actually contained bones or partial remains of the embryonic dinosaurs. What makes this fossil extra special is that an adult Oviraptorate was also partially preserved sitting directly on top of the nest, which is the first instance of a non-avian dinosaur having been found sitting on a nest of eggs that also preserved embryos. Now we will go to the last story, which personally I found the most interesting, and it's about the Hobbit species of Southeast Asia. I covered one of these before when Homo luzoniensis was discovered, but the most well-known one is Homo floresiensis. These were basically extinct human lineages which got trapped on these islands and became subject to island dwarfism, thus making tiny humans. It is often thought that these Hobbit species descended from Homo erectus, but this new study puts that into question, connecting it to another mystery regarding Denisovans, which I've also covered before in these new segments. The Denisovans are known from the Denisova cave in Russia, but recently also a skull was found in Tibet. They actually sequenced the Denisovans' DNA and checked it against the DNAs of modern humans to check for interbreeding. Just like we know that Neanderthals bred with Homo sapiens, and you can check that in your DNA. Even if you have done a DNA test like 23andMe or Ancestry, they've probably given you a percentage of how much Neanderthal DNA you had. Well, they did the same thing with the Denisovans DNA, and it is found that Asia, and particularly the southeast of Asia, actually had quite a high percentage of Denisovans DNA. But as of this day, there hasn't been any remains of Denisovans found in this area. The closest was Tibet, which is still quite a while away. Well, this study suggests that these Hobbit species of these southeastern islands might have not descended from Homo erectus, but actually might have descended from Denisovans. And then interbreeding between Homo sapiens and these hobbits might have caused this anomaly that a lot of the people in Southeastern Asia have a high percentage of the Denisovans DNA. Now, not everyone agrees with this study, and there's two sides to the story, so if you're interested in this, I highly suggest that you check out the full article linked in the description below. That was it for this news video. Let me know which story you found most interesting in the comments below. And if you're new, check out my channel to find a wider variety of historical topics. I'd like to thank my patrons for their support, especially my $25 patrons Parker Dye and G. David.